All right, everyone. So welcome to the Fall 2025 Society of American Archivists Student Chapter um, annual member meeting. We have this meeting once a year just to meet with everyone who is interested in SAASC and just to share with you what our chapter does and um, you know ways that you could get involved if you like, or what we offer through our newsletter and our blog and our speaker events. So the agenda for tonight, we're just going to go over the SAASC mission and our overview. And we'll also introduce just our this year's board. We'll talk about our speaker events that we have lined up, just the type of events that we provide that we're planning. Also our website and our blog and Archeota, which is a publication that the student chapter puts out. Um, Also, the benefits of SAA membership if you're interested in becoming an SAA member and how to stay connected. And we also have a link to our membership survey just so we can learn more about you and what your interests are, what type of events you'd like to see us, put on through our programming. And then we'll also open it up for questions. So as we're going through some of the slides, we'll include some of the links in the chat to those resources that we're adding. And there'll also be a chance, even though there's a chance at the end for questions, feel free to add your questions to the chat as we go um, through the presentation. So the mission of SAASC is to promote archival interests in our academic community, so just among everyone in the iSchool, to provide a platform for discussing archival issues, and to engage students in professional activities in order to enhance career development. So what are archives? This just gives you, just a brief overview of what archives are. And for those who, are new to that, it's just archives provide, they're valuable records of people, business, and government. They are documentary evidence of past events, and they're facts that we use to interpret and understand history. This slide shows the different types of archives. So you have culture and identity-based archives such as BIPOC archives, women's collections, LGBTQI+. Religious archives or local and community archives. There's also special issue-based archives such as accessibility and disability, accessioning, acquisitions and appraisal, international archival affairs, human rights and preservation. We've also got institution organization-based archives. These tend to be the ones that a lot of our membership is interested in, such as college and university archives and museum archives, public library archives, or government collections as well. Um, and then we have the special format-based archives, such as electronic records, oral history, metadata and digital objects, audio, moving images, and performing arts. So I'd like to just introduce our executive board for this year. My name is Marlene. I'm the chair. And then, I have just listed the types of archives that I have an interest in. Rebecca Billings is our vice chair. So she'll be planning out the programming and the speaker events that we'll have this year. Alicia Acosta is our secretary. um, Alicia is also involved with SLASC, the Special Libraries Association student chapter at the iSchool. They also put on some really great events. Erin Hickey is our membership director. And she was in charge of the newsletter and of also putting together membership and community events. Like, for example, we had a hangout in August. That's one of the events that kind of falls under membership events. Tara Swinslehurst is our assistant membership director, and she helps with the newsletter. Vanessa is our blog editor, and she just put up the September blog issue, which we'll share later um, in the presentation, and we'll share a link to that as well. Nicholas Haynes is our webmaster, so he updates the website and lists all of our upcoming events, and when we have open calls for positions or for editors for Archeota, he updates the website with that. Esther Ramirez is our social media coordinator. She previously worked in museums, and now she's at the MLIS program and looking into, moving to different types of archives. We've got Miranda Valdez, who's our events assistant. She's the one, she'll be communicating with you through the chat tonight. And Caitlin Scheel, she was our secretary last year and she's graduating this semester. So she is creating an SCA liaison position that we'll talk a little bit about later, which is pretty exciting. We've got our Archeota team here, and so they work really hard to put out 2 issues a year, which talk about archival issues. It's a student-run publication, and we'll talk more about it later. But Gwendolyn Smith is our managing editor. Jesse Jacobs is a senior editor. Michelle Berman's an associate editor, and Elsa is our associate editor. We have Rhea, who's our associate editor, and Diane, also an associate editor, and Vanessa and Isabel are also associate editors. So this is a really great team who puts together a great publication. I just wanted to share some of the fall goals that we have. Usually the goals are the same throughout the year, fall and spring, because it would be kind of difficult to a short amount of time to create 2 different sets of goals and try to achieve them for over 2 separate semesters. But our goals are to create a community that explores archives that are of interest to our members. So that's why we put together a membership survey so we can learn what it is you want to learn more about and what types of archives you want to get more information on. Um, we also learned from our previous membership survey that you all love have a great interest in learning more about internships and early career preparation. So we try to make that one of our goals, and we try to focus on that during our speaker events, especially when we ask them, instead of just talking about where the archivists are working, we also ask them what their career trajectory has been, what kind of classes they recommend that, as a MLAS student we take, and how to better position ourselves to be, good candidates for internships or for job searches. Um, we also want to bring awareness to the SAA community and the tools and scholarships they provide. So we are a chapter of the Society of American Archivists. It is the largest archival community, I guess, association in the United States. It's also the oldest. They provide really good aside from just networking opportunities, they also provide um, scholarships, and they have a career center, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. But they have, if you become a member of SAA, and you can do that through, if you're an Info 200, I believe, you get that courtesy complimentary membership that you can, select one of these associations to become a part of. So you can sign up for free through there. You get a free year membership to SAA. But I think if you're interested in archives, it's a good network to be a part of. Okay. So we put on 2 types of events, usually our speaker events and our membership events. So speaker events, there'll be presentations and talks with an archivist or it could be an archivist or a metadata librarian or a special collections librarian. And they'll talk about a specific project, or they'll talk about um, the environment that they work in, and then they'll also talk about how they got there and their career trajectory and experience, and then we open it up to Q&A. Last year we had someone the metadata librarian from Disney talk to us, and then we also had the archivist from Patagonia. We had an archivist from the Quebec, I think the Historical Society. She did talked about like her oral history project, which was really great. It was about the Italian community there, and she worked on a project where she was doing oral history, and they talked about like the different cuisines and recipes that the community was preserving. So it was just really interesting to learn about the different types of environments that you can work in and the different types, like the experience that you get, there and that can get you there. So we work on those and, putting those programs together for you all. We also have membership activities. These are just virtual hangouts, trivia nights, and this is where you could just chat with others who have similar interests. So we do have our YouTube channel where we post the recorded events for the speakers that are okay with us recording their talk. So, feel free to check it out. And I think just so you can see, some of the past speakers, and they do share a lot of really good just tips about what classes they wish they would have taken while they were, in the MLAS program or um, what of the competencies they feel are really important when you're applying to a job. So we do have a blog and a website, and the Miranda put the links to that in the chat. We have our first post that our blog editor, Vanessa, put together, and it talks about our former blog editor, their experience as a special collections summer fellow at the Princeton Firestone Library. So please feel free to check that out. I know that Gianna, their experience there was really good, and they worked with, I believe it was renaming collections to better represent the communities that the collections came from. Um, so feel free to check that out. And we have a blog post each month. We also welcome blog post contributions. So if any of you would like to write about a specific archive that you love or that you think is really interesting, or about an experience, an internship experience, or if you work in archives and you'd like to write a blog to share your experience, please feel free to reach out to us. You can write that blog, and it could possibly even count as a competency in your e-portfolio. So, if you have any ideas, reach out to us, and I will put you in touch with Vanessa, our blog editor. So check that out. There's some really great blogs also from last year. So I know there is one on like, Palestinian archives. There's one on textile archives too, and how a community uses weaving as a form of memory keeping. So please check those out. Our blog really does provide a lot of different perspectives and just highlights a lot of different and important archives. Um, you know, Please feel free to also check out our website. That's where we post all our upcoming events, also recordings and, our newsletters and our links to the Archeota publications. And now I'll pass it on a little bit for a bit to Gwendolyn Smith. She's the Archeota managing editor, so she can just talk a little bit about that.
Hi. So I'm Gwendolyn. I'm the managing editor for Archeota this semester. Um, so Archeota is a student-run student journal. So it's completely run by students and it's for students, and we publish your articles. We mostly look for recent events and stories in the news. Like the issue before last, we had a really interesting article about the cyber attacks on the British Library and the Internet Archive that happened in 2023. Um, Things about internships you've done or like firsthand experience. Um, if you interview an archivist, that's great. We love those. Reviews of archive-related media, so that's books, movies. We had an article once about how archives are portrayed in Star Trek, so be creative. Um, Reports, an experience going to a professional convention. Um, Really, if it's archives related, we're excited about it. The only real restriction is that we don't just publish like straight up school papers. If you wrote about something in a paper and you want to write an article about it, you can, but you'll need to rework it into an article, which we can help you with. That would probably be me helping you as the managing editor. And I want to make it clear you don't have to be a member of SAA to submit anything. We take submissions from all iSchool students, so you don't have to worry about what professional associations you are or are not in. Um, we actually just celebrated our 10-year anniversary of publishing. That was very exciting. And we're hoping to go another 10 years. So it's supposed to be a very welcoming and a very chill way to get something published that you can use for ePort competencies, I will say. Um, in a very non-threatening way, because I know submitting to scholarly journals is scary. But this is very calm and this is very chill. The articles are only like 2 to 3 pages long, so it's not a massive um, writing time investment. And our team of editors will help you make it perfect before we publish it. So you don't have to worry about that. Um, if you have an idea for something kind of off the wall, feel free to send it my way. We, in our very first issue, we had a poem, and we've never had a poem before, but I'd love to publish a poem. If someone wants to write a poem about archives, that would be really cool. Um, Unfortunately, this semester, we don't have space for any new editors. However, if you are interested in being an editor for Archeota, I would watch out for any calls for editors next semester in spring, because we do tend to have quite a bit of turnover. So I wouldn't say, like, don't give up. You might have space next time. As for article submissions, they open starting on October 6th, and you should get an iSchool alert about that. And the submission deadline for the articles is December 15th, which is a week after the last day of classes. So it should be fairly easy to balance it with your class load. Um, and then it will usually get published in January. So, yeah, Diane says we're very friendly, we promise. Yes, I know there's a couple of the other editors in here. Hi, guys. So yeah, if you have any idea, I can help you like develop it. So even if you're like, I'm not sure, just send me an email and let me know. I'll put the email for Archeota in the chat, um, so everyone can see it. And I hope that somebody's interested in submitting to Archeota because it's a lot of fun and it's really good experience for both the ePortfolio and resumes because it is technically professional publication. So, so it's useful that way. But yeah, thanks. I'll give it back to Marlene.
Thank you, Gwendolyn. I really appreciate that. And it's really interesting too, like the archives and Star Trek article. I think I'll have to look for that one and read it. Um, but thank you so much. All right. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the benefits of being an SAA membership if you decide that you would like to join SAA. Now, to be a part of SAASC, you don't have to be a member of SAA, but if you would like to be a member of the SAASC board, then you would have to be also a member of SAA. SAA is North America's oldest and largest national professional association. It's dedicated to the needs and interests of archives and archivists. It's made up of over 6,000, professional archivists who work in a lot of different environments and types of institutions. Um, so they do offer for members, they offer, and sometimes for non-members as well, like free education, like webinars and lunch and learns. They just teach you, like, for example, just how to use archive space if you've never used it before, or they have an upcoming free lunch and learn for preserving emails and walking you through that. And they also have other courses such as like a digital asset management certificate and accessioning and how to processing archives types of courses. Those you would have to pay for. If you're a student member, you do get a discount for those. Um, so they also put out some publications and textbooks. They put out a lot of manuals as well. And I think some of the professors, Dr. Bushy, she uses some of their publications in her course readings. If you take even her preservation classes or her reference and access class, she uses some of those. Um, so if you ever end up being like a solo archivist or like an archivist at a small community archives, I've been told that the SAA manuals are really good, very good to have on hand just to like for information and reference on um, how to work as an archivist in a small institution. Um, so it's also a professional affiliation. They have a lot of communities. They have a business and corporate archives community. They have an oral history community. They have um, a metadata community as well. And a lot of, people, if you decide to get involved with that, you can, work together depending on how much you want to get involved, coming up with, different standards of practice and stuff like that. So it's a good, professional affiliation to be a part of and to like list on your resume if it's something that you're interested in. Um, they put out a publication, I think it's monthly or quarterly, um, that again talks about different issues in archives and just highlighting interesting archives. And I know lately a lot of it's been kind of on AI or on advocacy as well. They also have their discussion boards and listservs, which are really helpful. They'll post job openings and also internship opportunities as well. Um, Archivists are very generous with their time, so they they're really open to just talking to students about early, just about their career and just giving advice on that. If you become a member of SAA, they do have something called I think it's like the Career Center where they will meet with you and they'll go over your resume and just kind of give you tips on how to, reformat that or how to edit it. And they also have mock interviews that they provide. So that's a really useful it's a really useful resource to have available to you. And then you can also have a mentor and attend their chapter meetings. I think student membership is $55 a year. But if you are in Info 200 and you get that complimentary membership, you can, use it if you haven't yet to select SAA as your complimentary membership. They just had their annual meeting in Orange County in Anaheim. So some of our board members got to go there and they really enjoyed the experience. It was big, like over 1,000 people attended, but it was a really good opportunity just to listen to the different panels and the different presentations about, just the big topics currently in archives, such as, DEI, also advocacy, and AI as well was another one. So, um, and while at the conference, they also had like an open session for the career center drop-ins, so people were able to get their like resume reviewed and stuff like that. So, if you're interested, feel free to look into that or to reach out to us, and we can send you more information about SAA. If you're looking to stay connected with us, if you, want to share some news or, want to again write a blog or, Archeota, talk about a job or something, feel free to reach out and we would be happy to put you in contact with our blog editor, or to forward your information to Archeota. Um, and Miranda put in our information in the chat, but we have a monthly newsletter that goes out. If you'd like to advertise anything in the newsletter or share any kind of good news in our newsletter, feel free to reach out and we'll add that to our monthly outgoing news. You can also join the SAASC Canvas group just to get our iSchool alerts and stay connected. Just by logging into Canvas and you go to your courses and you select the iSchool Advising and Administration. So here are the steps for kind of just joining our group and being added to our listserv. But if you want to sign up for a newsletter, that's like a separate sign up link. And we also have our membership survey. So we want to hear from you. We want to hear about speakers that you're interested in. I know during our hangout last month, somebody shared a speaker that they'd be interested in in us hosting. So share your ideas. Let us know the types of archives that you want to learn more about, or um, you know what you're interested in. Also, if you are interested more in like the Hangout membership, community building events, let us know about that too. Um, or to share any ideas. So, feel free to use the QR code, and Miranda also put in the link to the membership survey. Um, I also wanted to share that we will be having another survey going out in a couple of weeks because we created a professional associations liaison position. So our former secretary created that position with the purpose of, connecting students who live outside of California with either local or regional archives associations that are in their area, also archives repositories that are in their area. So maybe to like help facilitate volunteer opportunities or even internships, just to kind of introduce people who live in other states with archival institutions that are around them. So we'll have more news on that coming soon, and we'll send out an iSchool alert about that with a survey if you're interested in signing up to be a part of that listserv where she'll send out information about archives that are specific to your area where you live. And with that, I will open it up for questions because I just wanted to give just a brief overview of what we as a chapter do. And I also, want to open it up to hear from you all if have any questions or want to learn more about anything. Oh yeah, and we also put in the chat. So next week, next Wednesday at 5:30 is the iSchool student groups meet and greet. So that's just where all the student groups kind of get together and they just share what we're all up to this year, what the types of programs we put on, just if anyone's interested in getting involved with student leadership. It's a really good opportunity um, to gain competencies for ePortfolio, and just to meet other people. And, it's nice, especially with the remote program, it's nice to be able to make connections and feel like you're part of a community. So the student groups really help with that. Okay, I will stop sharing, and I see there's questions in the chat. And Miranda, you can stop the recording now, just so people feel free to kind of share more questions.